We are living in a time where hate has become louder, where words are fueling division, and where fear and violence are entering our streets, schools, homes, and places of worship. Every day, people are being targeted because of their faith, race, culture, or simply because they are different. But we refuse to allow hate to define our future. This series is about more than hate crimes. It is about humanity, healing, understanding, and courageous conversations that bring people together instead of tearing them apart. Featuring faith leaders, community advocates, public officials, survivors, and voices from different backgrounds united in confronting hate and building hope. Because love must speak louder than hate, and our shared humanity must always rise above division. Join us for this powerful new series on the SB Life Institute podcast, Conversations on Hate, Healing, Unity, and Hope. Coming soon.
Greetings and peace and love be with you all, and welcome to SB Life Institute podcast. In today's episode, we continue our discourse and discussion on hate crimes and the ways and means how we can tackle hate crime. And our objective behind these series is to sensitize our brothers and sisters and viewers about how important it is for us to have hard discussions so that our children and our community will be safe. Communities, religious communities, minority communities are all subjected to hate crime and in some way or the other uh, experience some form of hate crime. And unless we have these discussions, I do not think as a religious leader and a community leader, we will able to tackle these issues. It may be quite sensitive for us to have discussions of this nature, but I'll say it's vital and important. And today, I'm honored to have someone that is distinguished, Pandit Yogeshwar Narayan, who is a dedicated Hindu priest and a speaker, someone that is very active within our community and is committed to community to the community work. I'll say that he is serving and promoting Sanatan Dharma through spiritual education, devotional worship, and cultural engagement, with the passion of inspiring individuals of all ages. As a young man, I'll say I'm quite proud of the work that he does as he combines traditional Vedic teachings with practical life lessons that resonates with today's families and youth. My dear brother, welcome to our discourse and to SB Life Institute podcast. I know it's quite difficult to get community leaders to sit in times like this, and I know for a fact that you're busy, but the work that you do is quite admirable. And I want to, first of all, on behalf of SB Life Institute podcast, we would like to thank you so much for making the time to be here for us to have this discussion. How are you doing today?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I must say thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it. And like you rightfully said, we do need more of these type of engagement and forums.
Yes.
And just to see yourself, an imam, practicing imam, and a pandit sitting in the same panel.
Yeah.
And these topics are vital, critical, and very, very important. So thank you for having me here and being a part of this wonderful, excellent mission that you're putting together.
So,
And to all the viewers who are going to watch and listen to this, my humble namaste and good evening to all. And we hope that the wider world and population can benefit from this.
so thank you so much. You know, I would like to ask you, first of all, if you can tell me a little bit about yourself and the passion of the work that you do, because we don't really see that young people like engage in religious work. And if you can share very briefly what inspired you to serve. I know that you have your day-to-day work,
Mhm.
but you see it fit to have the time to instill spiritual teachings and religious teachings with the time that God has blessed you with?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, my journey, began as a pundit. I came from a long line in the lineage of practicing pundits from my Parnana, my great
Yeah.
Aja, my Aja, my dad is a pundit, cousins, and so forth. So it has been instilled within me from a very tender young age growing up. And I was brought up in such a family where it is it had to be practice, and it's what was in our bloodline that we grew up. We had to go to our altar, we had to do our daily prayers. And I was intrigued with attending different yajnas and temples and seeing the way valuable lessons were outpoured from our sacred texts and scripture, which triggered very positive changes in my life and opened an arena for me to think
Uh-huh.
and analyze the world in a different spectrum as I grow, throughout my school days, college days, and even now, today in my adulthood and family life. So I always treasure that, my religious heritage, my tradition and customs that were brought to me and my family from our ancestors. And I've chosen to walk that path 100%, um, committed firmly for the betterment of our Hinduism, our culture, and our wider community.
It's important for us to highlight to our viewers, despite what faith background you may belong to, that while we seek to achieve our academic dreams,
Hmm.
I think our culture emphasize that we should couple that with our religious values and spiritual values, because it
Absolutely.
it goes side by side, hand in hand. And while we may have differences in our theological belief, I think that
Hmm.
there is a lot in common in terms of humanity, our shared humanity and
Hmm.
service to
Hmm.
humanity.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think that is what drives us to be here, that like we're here sitting, and while we're living in a time where many seeks to divide us based on our differences, right?
Hmm.
Based on our religious practices, or
Background,
or
political
or
views,
even,
and
yeah, political views, and even the attire that we wear,
absolutely, yeah.
right? I think you know sitting here sends a very strong message, especially living in the West, and that is why I saw it fit for us to have discussions about hate crime. Before we continue about the hate crime, what does service to humanity means in Hinduism?
That's service to humanity is the foundation of Hinduism. Actually,
Yeah.
our in Hinduism we believe Nara Seva, Narayan Seva. Nara means man, Seva means service to man. Narayan Seva, Narayan is God, is service to God. So, irrespective, why I say it's the foundation in Hinduism, we strongly believe, we advocate, and we live by the principle that service to our brothers and sisters out in the world, not Hindu brothers and
Yeah, yeah.
sisters,
Yes.
but of all walks of life.
Mm.
Human beings are treated as a creation of God. Bhagavad Gita teaches us, one of our prominent texts,
Yeah.
that a spark of God, that divinity, lives in every single living
Yeah.
entity, irrespective of the color
Mhm.
pigmentation of your skin,
Yeah.
texture of our hair, our ethnic background, or political views. We're all human beings. We have blood in the veins. So service to humanity is service to God. That's what we believe, and we try to live by and practice.
It's interesting that you say that, because one of my favorite quotes would be the statement of the Prophet of Islam, the Prophet of humanity, when he says, "The best of you are those who have service to others." Right? And
Wonderful,
that
wonderful.
he's saying the core aspect of our faith is not based on the prayers, the spiritual things that the rituals that we engage in,
Absolutely.
but
Spot on.
the rituals are their intent to transform us to be better human being, so that we may have empathy,
Hmm.
compassion, love, and care, and look beyond the barriers that people often will. Like, a man
Absolutely.
comes and knock at your door, you have that connection with him. You don't ask his color, you don't ask his creed. You look at his needs and you provide that with
Try
an
to
open arm.
aid that.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Absolutely.
so I like that
That's a very,
commonality.
very common point that you
Yeah,
share now. I'm learning.
yeah,
I wasn't aware of that. So
yeah.
excellent point there.
You know, I can recall. I, I was appointed to be the Imam of Masjid Al Abidin at 127 Liberty. Um, I served from 2013 to current time.
Hmm.
I remember, uh, I think was sometime in January, March 2013. or just after that. I can't remember the specific date. I was a part of a religious group from various religious background that came together, and we said no to the hate crime that affected the Hindu community here in Queens. That there were a group of young people, a group of people that went around a particular area here in Queens. I can't remember the demographics, but I know my good colleague and friend, Arsalan, a friend of mine, he has the video clips and it pops up sometimes on social media where they burned Hindu flags here in Queens. And I know lately they had desecrated some of the religious religious items of the temple, Hindu temple here in Queens as well. And I know this is something that affects all of us, not only the rise of Islamophobia, and quite often there is a discourse and discussion about anti-Semitism, but I know for a fact that even the Hindu community is affected with this. And the mere fact that you have people out of their hate that will go around and basically burn the Hindu flags. That it was very, very, unacceptable, and we condemned that. And it was a part of the group, interfaith group, that went and openly said no to this. That and us coming together actually defeated the intent of those people. As a Hindu priest and a Pandit, how important it is, and what it, for you to take a moment of your service to highlight to your community about sensitizing the youngsters about this, the youngsters, because they're growing up. It's affecting our youngsters mentally, emotionally. Sometimes they would probably want to hide their identity because of the hate, because of everything. How important that is, and what are you doing to tackle this from within your community? If you don't mind sharing, I would love to know that.
Absolutely, that's a critical point. And one of the event, I'm sure you would recall, there's a beautiful temple there on 111th Street, Tulsi Mandir, where they desecrated the Mahatma Gandhi
Yes.
idol that was standing outside by the door.
Yeah.
Which was one of those, in addition to the burning of the flags and uttering slogans and all of these things. It's very critical in our younger generation and minds to prepare them. And like you said, because of these situations and scenarios out there in the world, they would cluster themselves in their closet, if you will.
Yeah.
And they would not be bold. They don't want to wear a certain garment or attire and say that I'm a full-fledged, perhaps they don't want to wear the kimar,
Yes.
or they don't want to wear their Hindu attire when it's
Yes.
holy or pagwa because of
Yeah.
those situations and reasons. And what we do to educate our youths at Sri Ganesh Mandir, where I'm the officiating priest, and the other organizations I go to, is I always try to put forward that our dharma, which means our religious merit, what we were born into, it goes the same for every religions out there. Be proud of it, uplift it boldly, and we cannot control what's coming out the mouth of the other person or how they're going to react to you, right?
Of course.
That's beyond our control. But what we are in control of, you don't have to be as bitter as their remarks. Just approach the situation cautiously, carefully. Don't put out back the same level of hatred, but you know better. And to our younger generations and our viewers who are going to listen to this and who are looking at this, don't allow such levels of hate out there in the world to determine who you are or the religious background you're from. I want you to know that you are very unique in your own way. You are strong just the way you are to stand on your feet, and you need to stand up firmly against such and let them know that you're not afraid. You don't have to engage in a duel or a fight, but give, from a Hinduism perspective, we respect all walks of life out there. And like my brother mentioned, from an Islamic perspective, it's the same thing.
Yes.
Humanity remains humanity. Irrespective of your religion or your color or your background or the wealth you have. Human beings will always be human beings. Respect that, lead a life of simplicity, and that's going to germinate harmony and peace and togetherness in our community. So I always encourage our youngsters to see things along that line. Don't let other words and comments um, define who you are as an individual or a person or your family. Stand up for yourself, know your worth, and you have to know the principles behind your religion and your family dynamics and your tradition.
Yeah.
Only then can you stand firm. So I think knowledge is key
Knowledge, yes.
in responding to those situations and remarks. You have to be knowledgeable, you have to be aware, and you have to be confident in yourself. Youths, youngsters, and parents, your children are all special. All my brothers and sisters out there, you're all special and unique in your own way, and you're strong. Stand your grounds. Be educated, be firm in your decision, and be polite in your response, and love will grow and flourish.
It's some key words that you mentioned. Be proud of who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and knowledge as well, right? I think with
Absolutely.
knowledge comes power, and then you stand with your head up high,
Mhm.
saying that I'm proud of who I am and I will represent who I am to the best of my ability.
Mhm.
And while we try to articulate that to our kids, the reality remains that many of us, despite these are children, right?
Mhm.
And even the adults, we experience, like for myself, I've been in New York for 13 years serving as the imam. So I've been a resident here for just over 13 years. And within our communities, in so many different ways, I've experienced hate crime with mere words targeting my garb,
Mhm.
targeting
Mhm.
my identity. Have you, as a person, experienced that, whether it is here or elsewhere? Can you recall in any time that you have experienced such? Your days in college, because one of the things that I counsel, I'm a life coach, so I speak with a lot of young people, and I know that a lot of our brothers and sisters from the Sikh community and from the Muslim community is being targeted even in the campus
Mhm.
because of
Mhm.
because of
Because of
their faith. Like, can you? I just wanted to.
growing up, I mean, in my UG days and in my high school days, in UG days not so much because we were all grown folks at that time. People treat you differently,
Yeah.
and that was in Guyana. So
Yeah.
Guyana in its whole, when you speak of Guyana, it's
Yeah.
so very diverse, but yet united at the same time.
Yes.
In my high school days, growing up, like I said, my pundit's journey began at a very, very young age. And I will always be looked at or be called out a pundit. And, growing up so young, everybody don't understand what's a pundit. They see a religious preacher
Yeah.
doing puja. So they'll make laughing and it'll be funny at times, but I never took it to heart because at the end of the day, when you walk through the street, I know all those same people were my friends.
Yeah.
We would all meet up for a game of cricket later on. So it was like a jokingly
Yeah,
effect,
jokingly.
not hatred, not
But that's
harm.
Guyana. I think Guyana.
Yes,
I think Guyana is a role model of what religious harmony
should
is,
be.
right? Yes, and I think if we want to know how we can coexist as a group of diverse people with different religious background, I think Guyana is that place. Because
Mhm.
why? I'm from Wales, potentially. You have within close proximity, you have a mandir,
Mhm.
2 streets apart, you have a mosque, and just
Have a
around the corner, you
church.
have a church.
Absolutely.
And you see these 3 symbols that actually represent something powerful, that this is a community of faith.
Mhm.
And despite how you sense the family turmoil and the chaos sometimes within our community and pulling and tugging, Saturdays, Sundays, and Fridays, like you will find that powerful imagery
Yes.
of people of faith
Yep.
walking in harmony, and the coexistence of these people within their religious practices. I think that's a demonstration of uh, what harmony actually is.
Absolutely.
And I don't want, especially our Muslim viewers, to think that we are, watering down our own religious principle. Your religious principle will always be your religious principle.
Absolutely. Yes.
And you will not do anything to compromise what you were taught, right?
Absolutely.
Same thing for myself.
Mhm.
But that does not mean we cannot have that that harmony and
Exactly.
togetherness, right? And deal with the commonality. And we're living in the West, and unfortunately, brother, I'll say this. Unfortunately, we're seeing individuals that is occupying the highest office in this
Mhm.
country. And I say this, I don't want it to sound political, but it's a reality that people that are occupying the highest of office are trying to use religious teachings and religious differences to segregate and to divide and to instill fear, right? So I guess, why do you think hate crimes and acts of intolerance are increasing within our society today? Any thought process you could share will be really nice.
Yes, I mean that intolerance and that whatever promotes hate crimes out there in the world, whether it's senior generations or younger youths, I think it all boils back down to the main aspect of education and awareness. We are
Beautiful.
not aware of the other person's values, like you beautifully highlighted. You're gonna adhere to your principles, your Islamic teachings, and your rules.
Yeah.
I will do the same for my Vedic principles and my teachings as well. That doesn't mean that we don't have a brotherly meeting out there, because we're promoting the same. We want peace with our community, our children,
Yeah.
and families out there in the world. So I think lack of awareness and education,
Yeah.
because what I find, to connect back with the prior question, is that when we look into society and we see that this level of hate being practiced out there,
Yes.
it is because I have personally spoken to youths that until I sat down and I had a discussion with that person, that they didn't fully understand how Hinduism worked. This was a person of a non-Hinduism background, and that happened here in New York. But when we sit down and had a one-on-one discussion, they finally started to understand that, we're all human beings. We have different principles. And I had to give them the idea that, in Hinduism, you're going to see that each day of the week, we pray to a different form of God. It doesn't mean that we have all these different types of God out there. It means that the same Lord, but in different day, like yourself. Today, you're dressed appropriately. I'm speaking to an imam.
Yeah.
If I come in a day, you're planting some vegetables in the yard, you're going to be in your short pants. You're the
Yeah.
same imam, but
Yeah.
you're now my brother Safraz.
Yeah.
So your clothing changes. The way you speak perhaps will be different.
Yes.
But am I speaking to the same person? Am I referring to the same person? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is the level, that's just a little example
Yeah.
of awakening awareness within others out there in the world. And I think when we're able to do this and bridge that gap, then others would come.
The barriers will be removed.
broken.
Be broken.
Absolutely.
And I listen. We can disagree on religious principles, but what I'm saying, I agree with you that lack of education about faiths and cultural sensitivity is not there, and that's why I often will say, I will probably say it in each one of these episodes that I have, and I'll say it now again, that our work as religious leaders should extend beyond the walls of our own little niche,
mosque or the
mosque or
the
mandirs
church.
and
It
so
should
church.
absolutely.
It has to be outside, right? Because there is where the journey starts, right? When we go out there, we try our best to somehow educate people through our conduct, not necessarily go and promote our teachings and
correct.
saying that mine is superior over you. That's why I'm not too much of a fan of aggressive debate. I believe in discourses, but not debates about religion, because we will have our own discussions about religion
Open
and
dialogue
open
sheds a
dialogues,
lot of light.
right? And I really believe that. So
If I may add something to that,
yeah, go ahead.
one of the critical places that I find and I use the forum to my advantage for that is when I'm officiating at a funeral service, a funeral
Yeah,
or a wedding. We have diverse population. Everybody's there.
Same
So
thing.
I use the forum to not, like you said, not highlight or bring to the audience Hinduism teachings. I'm not trying to convert a Muslim to Hinduism or a Christian to Hinduism. No.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to bring to the point, my brothers and sisters, we are all human beings at the end of the day. Life is short. When you go to a funeral, everybody's going to nod their head. We want to live tomorrow the best that we can, make it the best last day of our life, because we don't know what will happen next.
Of course, definitely.
So we try to germinate that seed of humanity, togetherness, unity within the world.
It's beautiful.
Despite of where we come from, which country we are from, which background we're from, which religious group we're practicing.
And the point that you've mentioned, a lack of education about our faith, I think one of the things that we need to do is to open our mosques, our temples, our synagogues, or our churches a little bit more, to have an open day where people could come and sensitize the community about that faith.
Absolutely.
Because when there is a sense of fear, right, when there's a sense of fear, the only way for us to remove that fear is to have an openness. So when you open, oh, there's a mosque there, to see the minaret, they don't know what goes on there. They see a mandir. It's different than their churches or their synagogues or different than their temple, whatever it is that they consider. They never see that. So the unknown often will instill the fear. Fear, right?
Yeah.
Unknown, right?
Yes.
And that is why. And we don't know what they're doing there. So opening our mosque and opening the mandirs without, as I said, again, I firmly believe, with respect, right? Without transgressing where your religious boundaries are, borders, right?
Yeah.
So the end of the day, they come in and they were able to see and observe and learn. Like I can recall I invited a group of interfaith chaplains from Northwell Health to my mosque some years ago, and it was the first time some of them stepped foot into a mosque.
Wow.
And this is it for me. I'll say it's unfortunate for us because we never allow that to happen before. That how come you have people that are willing to come to the mosque but never step foot into a mosque? Not because they into a conversion. I want to make that clear.
Yes.
But just to be aware of who you are, because if they know, like in this is what our Hindu brothers were doing. That fear, I think that fear, because acquaintance brings a little bit of harmony. Like
absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, once awareness are there now, you understand, and that level of hatred, that level of fear that leads to hatred and leads to these hate crime that we're seeing will go out the window.
Breaking bread together too. Like simple thing is breaking bread together. You know, like I think when we break bread together, it builds that bond with our brothers and our sisters.
I think here in the city of New York, they had that the last administration breaking bread, building bonds. That was a good initiative.
Yes, I think so.
Absolutely. It goes, and I commend you for what we're doing here. You know, I often I look forward to having these discussions. My best of friends were Christians and Muslims, like other than me. One of my best buddy became a pastor. One is an imam in Guyana right now. I saw him last year. So it's always good to have these open dialogue and to appreciate the value that others share. And you know, to my amazement, having discussions with my two friends from different religious backgrounds, you'd be surprised at the amount of things we share in common scripturally than we do in differences.
Yes.
You know, and I think if the wider population in the world understand that, we'll be soon at a place of world peace and harmony.
You know, having these interfaith dialogues, I've seen that you're talking, that you had colleagues from different faith background, and I still believe that Ghana is the place. Ghana is special, right? So here in the U.S., and we are seeing the rise even in Europe, right? The hate crime is increasing. How important these interfaith dialogues are? Let's talk a little bit about that, because with these dialogue, I think it breaks it. The stereotypes through our conversation, right? You know, there's this verse in our scripture. Yes, there's difference between religious groups. So God is saying to us, you know, come to common terms. You know, like have this discussion so that you will have common terms with the people of the book. And the people of the book here is talking about the Jews and the Christians, you know, and that does not mean that rule does not extend beyond other religious, but specifically, but this is a general statement, but specifically was talking about that of a specific historical occurrence that happened. We need to come to common terms and have discussions. And when we have those discussions, I think it breaks that stereotype through these common terms. And there is this verse also in our scripture that tells us that God created us from nations and tribes, you know, so that we may know each other. So like nations and tribes, I mean, with diverse background of religious practices. I know more, like I was doing a little bit research about some of the principles, you know, within your faith. I learned about that. I see the commonality. Like you're right, there is commonality, basically, right? And when we live in multicultural society, this conversation is vital.
Very
vital. It's very vital. And so maybe you can shed some light in terms of how important interfaith dialogues are, meaningful interfaith dialogues are, because sometimes things have become more cosmetic rather than their a core value,
change
right?
values.
Yeah, the reason why it's sometimes I think that some of these events that is there is just for the photo app.
Absolutely.
I come and say I sit with you, I take a picture. This is my brother from Hindu community. It looks nice. You get a nice little thumbs up or a heart on
Or
social
recognition
media,
for
and
being there. Yeah, that's it.
and that's it, right?
It's
But that bond is not there. Like when I invest my time as a person in friendship, like I invested in friendship. Hi, how are you doing? How is everything?
should be a lasting, meaningful bond, not just for face value.
Not that's what I'm trying to say. So how important it is for us to have these discussion and to have interfaith discussion, not for anything else other than other than um, other than helping communities that are broken because of hate crime.
That's a very, very critical aspect that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
It's not about when it should be or how it should be. It absolutely needs to be addressed. And as I go into that answer, I'd like to streamline it along the way that when you sit, so that the open dialogue on an interfaith level among different religious background speakers, leaders, you should be able to understand in that forum that you're not there for yourself or for your religion at that standpoint.
Yes.
That interfaith open dialogue you should have the level of awareness and understanding that it's for the greater good of the world and humanity out there, like we've been mentioning throughout this podcast, from different backgrounds and countries and parts and whatever area creed you're from out in the world. So the leaders, the speaker should understand that much, number one. The listener that's receiving this information should also have the understanding and awareness that the leader or the speaker is not trying to dissuade you from what you hold close to your heart and what you believe. They're simply trying to shed light on so many common grounds that we share and to appreciate the other brother, sister, the neighbor.
Yeah.
To bring that harmony into the world. So, in conclusion, it's vital to have these open interfaith dialogue. And the speaker, I'm not going to say only the listener, speaker, it's key. Because it's very sad to see that there are religious leaders out there. And I'm not sure if you can agree with me, but they are, that I know personally, leaders out there who are only with that restricted mindset that it should only be about their way or their religion, and they don't see it
And
any other way.
I'll say it openly that I'm against that.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm against that. We're living in a multicultural society. We're living in a free world. Yeah, and that's one thing that while we say we have freedom to practice our faith in this country,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
When many other countries are actually can do it.
You have
So
to
there's a
follow-
sense of
yeah,
freedom here,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
That we have to ensure that that freedom is actually preserved
Absolutely.
and that it's not taken away from us.
And that's a good point for our young minds who are listening too, to
Yeah.
stand your grounds. Whatever background you're from, you don't have to forcefully adhere
Yeah.
to what someone else is throwing at you.
Yes, exactly.
It's a free world. It's your right in this country, this part of the world.
And these type of I think also like these type of conversation, it does not only break the stereotypes. I think it also creates trust among communities.
Absolutely.
There's a sense of trust, and then also when you have these discussions and you build relationships, I believe in building relationships, relationships that extend beyond your community, that you're able to collaborate and work together on common social concerns that we have.
Absolutely.
The Muslim community and the Hindu community faces issues with our youngster, peer pressure, drugs.
It's the same. It's the same.
The same, right?
Different religion, but it's the same. The problem
right?
is the same.
Same
Solution is
solution.
the same.
Yeah. Good. So the social crisis that we are having, lack of safety, right?
Lack of
Concern.
safety.
Yeah, lack of safety. These are things that we all experience. Social issues. And if we come together and have dialogues and create that bond and create that trust, we can tackle.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
We can basically tackle so many things in having these discussions and working together in harmony.
Like you said, it's not only the Muslim community, the Christian community, or the Hindu community. We're all facing, and who's going to suffer? Our children, the future.
Yeah.
of everybody, not only one religious background. Everyone is going to suffer. So standing together, standing united in such a forum and bring this to the attention of our young minds
Yeah.
and our audience out there, I think it'll bring the critical change we're
Yeah.
looking to see out in the world.
Yeah. And God, we are all the children of God, right? Let me say, we are all the creation of God.
Welcome.
God created us, and we have our problems. We are not, somehow unique to our problems. Other also face the same problems, and if we come together and lend our shoulders for people to lean on, and come together ways and means to help each other, it will show a very powerful message.
Absolutely.
And it, one of the things that we often I often look at of how communities look beyond their religion and color and beyond segregation is when there's a natural tragedy,
Disaster or something.
disaster, or something like that,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
We don't look at people. Oh, we can't give them a bottle of water. Or we can't help this one. We can't help that one. Everyone, we forget all those artificial barriers, right? And we work together in harmony and togetherness, and we can collaborate as religious communities in helping the less fortunate, and I think that will show the power of unity and togetherness.
We've seen many different religious backgrounds are on the same mission to help the
Yeah.
needy, to help the poor,
Yes.
to promote nonviolence. So we're all working towards the same, which is why I said the solution is always the same. The problems will always be the same, irrespective of which walk of life we're from. Standing united, we're going to be able to battle that and bring a positive change
Yeah.
out in the world.
Great. What message would you share with someone who holds negative views about another religion or community, not specifically about your community, right? If you see, because we hear this, it's one of the ways of tackling hate, I think, is that when we hear it, we must say something. Our silence means that we agree.
Exactly. And when your
Yeah.
silence means you're putting yourself in a
Yeah.
position to be
And
trampled
then
upon.
we're part of a discussion. Someone says something out of the way. People respond differently. Some decide to walk away, and some decide to be silent while being there. And I want you to say something that is coming from your heart. If you can basically, say something to people or individuals that actually promote hate or utter words of hate, not necessarily towards your religion, but towards any minority community, what message do you have for such a person?
So, before I give that message to the person, I'd like to highlight that walking away is not good. Staying silent is not good, and perhaps even worse, just staying silent. And what's even brings greater harm than that is to take your phone out, stand in the background, and to show the world somebody being a hateful crime act is being committed
Yeah.
towards an individual. And social media brings so much good information to us, and also at the same time promotes so much negative information to us. So the person advocating and practicing such hate crimes out there in the world, I'd like to say that Vasudevam Kutumbakam, the world is one big family. Whether you don't agree at this time, you'll grow to be in agreement in the future, that we're all a part of the same family tree.
Yes.
We speak differently, we may look differently. You're not going to agree with the words coming out of my mouth, perhaps, but we all belongs to the same family tree, and your values may be different from me, but I'd like to remind you, the fluid that runs through your veins is the same and similar nature that runs through my vein. Different grade of blood, but it's the same blood. We have the same physical makeup in our bodily features, and casting out harm out there to the world, irrespective of if you're in agreement with the other person's view or how they see you, it will not change. But what will bring a positive change is when you have the understanding and the awareness of the other person's state of being. Then you'll rethink the comments you
Yeah.
make and the
Yeah.
remarks you make towards
Exactly.
such persons. So bring yourself up to a level of awareness. And the hate crime that you throw out there, the hateful remarks that you put out there into the world, it'll not make you look better. It'll not bring you any good. It'll just take you down the path to hell even faster. So that's just a friendly word of advice to any person who's thinking along this line. Nobody in the world is not out there to get you because of your religion or the way you look or the family background that you're from or your financial status. So don't use that to promote such hatefulness and resentment out there in the world.
Very powerful words, and thank you so much for sharing that. I will also add to say it's important to get to know people personally.
Absolutely.
Before you make an assessment and judgment. We cannot make assessment about someone and judge an entire community without knowing, and that's one of the issues that we're facing. That people are judging an entire community based on the actions of few.
One of the good things. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think that is selective anger when you're having certain principles that you apply to a particular group, and those very principles is out of the door when it goes to another.
Exactly.
We need to be consistent, and in addition to this, get to know the community, get to know the person, and then again, I think that will help. Ask questions before making assumptions.
Exactly.
Right? Clarify. That's one of the things.
Sometimes we've seen that a certain value within the mindset of a particular group or an individual had stemmed not even because of their level of awareness, but because what was imprinted in their mental faculty growing up. They've been told something, they were informed of something, or you should hate this person, or you should stay away from this person. And because of that, they had that built up in their mind and their heart. But when the doors of awareness is open up and you have that discussion and you ask questions and now you're aware, then you would truly realize that perhaps all that you would have heard and was told to you is not necessarily true.
Yeah.
So,
So you
I think
wanted to
that's
share something. You were saying something. You wanted to say something.
I wanted to say on that point that we talked about Guyana being very, very special. And I remember growing up when we haven't seen the level of hate crimes like we're seeing now in the world.
Yeah. We're not seeing
It's
it.
beyond ridiculous out there,
Mhm.
especially this part of the world, in the Western world. We haven't seen that. And I think um, that's a good starting point, as we have mentioned earlier, if you want to look back and reflect on there. I remember when the Christmas comes around, something for the Christians, everybody celebrate.
Yeah.
Holy Pagwa comes around, everybody celebrates and out in the street. Cricket comes around, everybody from different religion goes to play and see and be a part of it.
Yeah.
So those acts seem very tiny and small and significant, but those are all simple things. And I'm sure that those individuals of such caliber who are harboring any level of hate or resentment in their mind, I'm pretty sure you can find something small as those that we have highlighted, whether it's a game that you love or a meal or a restaurant that you love. You can find little ways of bridging that gap and learning more of someone else's culture or about some other person before you walk down the line of bringing harm to that person and yourself.
That's so powerful. You said something with small, consistent act.
Correct.
Small, right? I think can blossom into something very beautiful. You could say this is small and consistent, but how long you will wait for an impact? But I'll say think about a drop of water that falls on a rock. 1, 2, 3, 4, and what's going on? But after a period of time, you will see how that drop of water cause a dent or a carve into that
It
rock.
leaves its imprint
Yeah,
in
it
that
leaves an
rock,
imprint in that rock. right?
permanently.
So permanently. So it will definitely have that impact, right? And I think that's how we should start with small, consistent act and instill that value in in our in our children's life from very
Absolutely.
small, from very young age. I also think that every human being deserves respect,
100%
right?
in agreement.
And that diversity is a gift, not a threat. And love is stronger than hatred, and our differences should enrich us and not divide us. It's also important for us to remember the slogan that humanity is one family.
Absolutely.
And in closing, I want to ask you if you have any closing remarks, and then I'll conclude today's episode.
Wonderful. I think we've had an excellent session. One point I'd like to paint a picture for, like you rightfully said,
Yeah.
it's not about a specific age group.
Yeah.
That level of respect and love and appreciation goes across the board of however old you are, whether it's a school child, a senior, a mother, a father. It should be appreciated. So if you were to look at a tree, and this is an example I use in my peace training
Yeah.
with the UN. If you were to look and analyze it, three, it has different parts. You have the roots, you have the trunk, you have the branches and the leaves. The leaves are very small and minor depending on which plant you're looking at.
Yes.
The roots, you don't even see it. But without the root, you will not have the plant existing. So every part of that plant, it's like human beings out in the world, whether you're looking at the tree being as a family in the home with the children, the parents, the grandparents,
Yeah.
or in the work environment,
Yeah.
or in the world at large with community leaders in different religious backgrounds.
Yes.
The flower is a different religion, the leaves are a different religion, the trunk is a different religion,
Yes.
the roots. But in order for that tree to stand strong and for us to enjoy the fruits, every part, the roots have to come, bring the nutrients through the trunk, the leaves with the sunlight gives creates the food for the plant, then the flower blossoms and that transforms into the beautiful fruit that we can all enjoy. So it's the different parts that makes life beautiful. We're all this one big family tree in the world,
Beautiful.
but the different
Quite
parts,
profound. I really love it.
the different parts
Yeah.
coming together
Yeah.
make us achieve that beautiful, tasty fruit that we're able to enjoy. And that's the peace, the love, and the unity we need in today's world.
So thank you so much. In closing, I just want to say that as we conclude, let's remember to listen more and judge less, and build friendships across religious cultures and faiths. And let us, in one voice, speak out against hate, whether it's directed to our community or someone else's community. Let's serve selflessly. Hinduism advocates service. Islam advocates service, and we started our session with that, right? Practice kindness in daily interactions, and be the example you wish to see in the very society that we live in. As I emphasize that Guyana, our country of birth, teaches us that people of different faith can live together. That this is not just something we're talking about, but the mere fact that there's a living example in Guyana. We should turn our direction to Guyana if there is any element of doubt. Celebrate our differences that we have, support one another while remaining a true believer of what we believe in, without compromising our faith, without compromising or watering down our religious values. The future will not be shaped by those who spread fear, but by those who choose to understand one another, understanding, compassion, and love. I'll ask for us as brothers and sisters and as human beings, let us be among the builders of peace, and one who will always advocate for love and harmony. So thank you all so much, and I want to thank our beloved Pandit for taking time off to join us. And I'll say this is a beginning of a great friendship. I'll say that you're my brother, and I'm very pleased and honored to have you in my space, in my home, and for us to do this podcast. I wish you all the best in your community, and I think we have a lot in common that we can work towards achieving for the betterment of our families and our communities. Kindly do not forget to join us in these efforts that we're making by subscribing on our podcast, SB Life Institute podcast. You can go on YouTube, type in SAFRAZ, Safraz Bacchus Life Institute. It's also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And just a quick note that this program is also aired in Guyana and Channel 69 in Guyana. Thank you all so much. Love and peace, and have a blessed day.
Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Blessings to all.